Introducing Supply Pointe, a leading one-stop shop for shipping and logistics services. We're growing fast, and we want to share our success with enterprising individuals like you. Our franchise locations are sweeping the nation, providing a wide array of much-needed logistics services to a growing number of clients from coast to coast. That's why we need hard-working people like you to lead the charge, serving customers with our comprehensive set of packaging, shipping, and logistics services so they know who to call whenever they have a need. A Supply Pointe franchise is much more than a business opportunity. It's your ticket to a brand new life of personal and financial freedom. Stay tuned to learn more about our franchise opportunity and how it'll change your life for the better.
Yes, and that is what we get to do today. Welcome, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders, to FranOps Live. Man, this is going to be a good one today. It's August. It's crazy. It's August. We're kind of in those like real heat dog days of summer kind of days here in central of the country, and I'm in Iowa, and so it's warm, it's humid out. But we are in August, which means fall is just around the corner, which means football is just around the corner, which means fantasy football is just around the corner. Excited for a lot of things. But today we are getting to kind of talk with one of the greatest franchisee stories that we've been able to bring inside of this group. And we'll unpack that in a little bit. I want to let you guys know real quick before we dive in. Next week, we don't have a FranOps Live like this. I know you really enjoy looking at my face really closely like this, but that's not what we're going to be doing next week. Next week, we're actually going to do some FranOps Live on location. Next week, I'm going to be in Austin, Texas, at an actual franchisor's headquarters, and we're going to unpack a couple of different brands live in person with some franchise developers, maybe some CEOs. I'm excited to kind of show the inside look of the headquarters of these brands. So that's all going to be next week. I'm going to be doing that Thursday and Friday. So be on the lookout for that content here inside the group. I don't know exactly when I'll be going live. It might just be kind of sporadic, but and I'll share the word as best as I can when we find out. But if you are watching this at a later time, if this is like way down the road on YouTube, however, if you're not watching this live, you are missing out. This content remains exclusive for the people inside of a Facebook group that those are watching right now, you are in. FranOps for elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. And this content is available just to them for a limited time. And then it goes public to the rest of you all. So if you're watching this later and you're like, man, I wish I would have heard about this sooner, you could have. Click on the link down below and join the Facebook group today. That way you don't miss out on any other great opportunities. But this one is one of my favorite opportunities, because if you're someone that's been like, and I really want to build a business, but I want to do it from home. I want to be in complete control of my own schedule. I want to have potential to build a radically scalable business with incredibly high potential for revenue. That is what Supply Pointe is. This is a business that if you're also like, man, but what about the economy? What about pandemics? What about anything else? This one is critical. Supply Pointe is absolutely critical to our economy. It's something you can do completely from home, scalable, multiple revenue streams, super low overhead, and the schedule is your own. And that's what you're going to hear today from the franchisee we're bringing in, Mike Carillo, who has quite a crazy story I'm excited to share with you. He's owned multiple businesses. In fact, he's owned a franchise before and has stepped out of that and stepped into this one. So I'm excited for you to hear about his take on that one versus the one he's in now. And he's actually been affectionately nicknamed the most vacationed franchise in the system. We're going to unpack that a little bit and how that is even possible with this, what that actually means and what that looks like. And really what he's excited what he told me he's excited to share is just like what he's found through this is financial freedom. And what that means for him, what that could mean for you. So I am excited to bring in Mike. So without further ado, let's get started with FranOps Live and Supply Pointe.
Hi, Facebook friends. My name is Michelle Goitiandia, and I am the Director of Growth and Development here at Supply Pointe. Today, you're going to hear from one of our rockstar franchisees, Mr. Mike Carillo, and you're going to find out a lot about Mike. He is a dad. He is an Army veteran. He's an entrepreneur like all of you guys, and he is amazing. You're going to love hearing from him. He is that guy that when he walks into a room, he brings this amazing light with him. Everybody wants to talk with him. Everybody wants to be friends with him. And you guys will all feel that after the call today. Mike is actually the third franchisee in our system. We are now at 13, and Mike is a big part of that. He always talks to our franchisees, and he is that guy that is there to mentor any new franchisees coming into our system. He talks to everybody, and he's a guiding light. So we're excited for you to hear from him, and I'm excited to hear from you because I know you're going to want to talk to me after you're done hearing from Mike. All right, so Jared, take it away.
Yes, Mike, welcome, brother, to the Fran Ops for Elite Entrepreneurs and Empire Builders.
Thank you for having me, Jared. Glad to be here.
Yeah, dude, I'm super pumped too. That was Michelle. She's the director of franchise development over there at Supply Pointe. And so those of you watching now or watching later too, that is who I'll connect you to directly. After, if we deem that this is a good fit for you and you're a good fit for Supply Pointe, I will put together a high quality referral to Michelle, to the Supply Pointe team. You, in their mind, then become this like VIP MVP, the next one they got to talk to. So that's all down the road. But today we're going to start with talking to you, Mike, about your story, man. Tell us, let's just start right there. Tell us a little bit about who's Mike. Who are we talking to today?
Well, you know what? I'm a guy that bleeds red, white, and blue.
Okay.
I went to war for this great nation, and I love this country, and I believe that everybody has an opportunity to create their dreams and wants and desires in the greatest nation in the world. So, right in a nutshell, Mike is a guy that bleeds red, white, and blue and takes advantage of the great country we have to build a business and create myself financial freedom and time freedom to spend time with my family.
Yeah, you believe in what this country is built on, which is being able to go and build something, create something.
Absolutely, 100%. You know, there's no such thing as I can't do it. No, if you think you can't, you can't. If you think you can, you're halfway there. You decide. We don't care. We don't discriminate against anybody.
Yeah.
Just those who want the desire to dream and go forward. That's it.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. Outside of that, tell us about, family. Do you have a family? Or what kind of what interests you? What are you into?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not normal.
Okay,
I like
not
to
normal.
jump out of planes. I have a family and a 14-year-old son, and life is good. Some people think I'm an adrenaline junkie. I wouldn't say that, but I do live life, man. I love to snowboard. Son loves to snowboard. I scuba dive, snowboard, skydive. I play soccer actively 2 or 3 times a week on several teams. I'm actually founder of the Middle Tennessee Soccer Alliance here in Nashville. I'm one of the 7 founders. I started it in 2006. Now we have like 1,200 adults. So, building something from zero is not new to me.
Yeah, right. Wow, no joke. That's crazy. You skydive.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Holy smokes, I could not, man. Props to you. I like the ground.
Well,
So,
I get there eventually.
yeah, right. I like to be standing, not falling at a high rate. So, no, that's good, man. So, but now you're into Supply Pointe. Now you're, Michelle said in the video, you're the 3rd franchisee in their system. That's early. You've got to have a little bit of you're missing some kind of risk bone in your body to be that kind of guy. It's like, yeah, I'll jump in at this stage of that. Let me do it. Let me get a piece of this pie this early on.
You know what the issue is when people ask me that, and after you go to combat, there's a lot of risk, and you see it, but you look at things differently. But when I looked at this, you have to believe not only in the system, but who are the people behind the system?
Yeah, right.
And honestly, what sold me to the Cahills, Adam and Matt Cahill, my belief in them and those two are what brought me here. Because I was inches from signing with another franchise, a huge one, massive, multi-billion-dollar. And the CEO asked me the day I was leaving the Discover Day, he put his arm around me. He's been on TV, and he said, "Man, we really want you here. I will give you another $10,000 off if you come today, but I want you to come back and teach too." And it hit me here. But what really hit me here was The Cahills. I don't know if you know this, but
Is that the CEO?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Adam and Matt are the CEO and the founders of Supply Pointe. Correct.
Yeah, awesome.
And people always, there's a saying that we say in the military, and it's people that want to know how much you know. They want to know how much you care, and they'll follow you anywhere.
Yep.
And that's what the Cahills was. I knew that when we got here, there'd be some bumps and bruises. I knew it because with 3 months or 3 franchises in, you're still blazing the path through the minefield, trying not to get blown up,
Yeah. Right.
But I believed in them. And man, I tell you what, that was not a mistake. The best decision of my life was to come to Supply Pointe. There's no doubt in my military mind, I'd do it again and again.
So go back to that point in your time in your life when you were making that decision before you chose Supply Pointe. Why franchising in the first place? Why did you get into franchising? And what was that decision like for you overall to decide ultimately Supply Pointe's the one?
Okay. In the early years, I was in the military and I met a millionaire, and he mentored me. And so I knew that I wanted to be my own boss at one point in time, regardless.
Yeah.
So I had a real estate company in the beginning, a few rental properties, and that was tough when you're coming out young. You don't have a lot of money. It's a big struggle. And then I was exposed to franchising. I was looking at different opportunities to try and really, look at something that's going to be successful. And the one thing about franchises is, it's a proven system that works. So I have not been the one to lose the money or spend all the money to figure out what works and make the system work. So you're buying a proven system. That's what makes franchising successful. Now, don't lie. I'm not gonna lie. People fail. They fail because they don't follow the system.
Yep.
That's the reality.
Yep.
To be successful in any job, people think that, or any job or work, you have to put some effort behind it. Some people think when you own a business, you buy a business and boom, money falls in.
Yeah, right.
You're farther from the truth. You have to build it. It takes work, sacrifice, and a dream. And if you don't have those, you're not going to win, because you have to be willing to put those goals and dreams in front of you and then go for them and follow and put the steps and the work behind it. So franchising was the way to go for me. I had owned another franchise, but in that particular franchise and several that I looked at, the one I used to own, I sold. I bought myself a job. I really did. I worked one day.
Yeah, because you had owned a franchise before, you said.
Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah.
And
so the last one was a janitorial type company. And I had a fleet of vehicles and a fleet of staff of employees, and we serviced a lot of your major chains doing the hygiene services. But when the employee doesn't show up and you have to go do a scrub in the middle of the night,
who's going to step in? Yep.
As I was saying, I worked 21 hours one day.
Oh my goodness.
I came home, slept for 2 hours, and was back at the office at 0600. And, it really said, man, I could never retire.
Yeah. Right.
So I was looking at when I sold that one, I was looking at other franchises that a little more freedom, scalability, maybe risk avertant, because there's always risk, but minimal risk avertant. Because I'm willing to bet on myself. Jared, you're a sharp guy. I guarantee you bet on yourself before you bet on somebody else. Absolutely, right?
Yep.
We know what we have here.
Yeah.
So this was a fluke. And when I looked at it, it was supply chain management and logistics. And I'm like, man, I know that wheelhouse from my previous life.
Yeah.
And I know that as long as there's humans, we need supplies. We need transportation. Because it doesn't go to A to B from manufacturer to consumer.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get there, we could starve to death. Or medications and
right. It's not going away. It's not going
anywhere. If we go away, then that goes away. But as long as we're still here, like doctors, it's not going away.
Right. Yep.
And I actually grew substantially during COVID because we had to transportate masks and stuff like that, and medical supplies from point A to point B distributor to location. So
that's crazy. I've never been asked this question. People ask all the time, I'm looking for something that is pandemic resistant, right? Or I'm looking for something that, is it like, what did you guys, how bad did you guys get hurt during pandemic? But I've never been asked, I'm looking for something that can grow during a recession or pandemic.
I grew. We all did.
That's crazy.
We all did. We dug deep. And remember, a pandemic is something new compared to back in the early 20s when, the Black Plague. So this was new.
Yeah.
So everybody's navigating all this. And then with all the government regulation, you can't do this, can't do that. You had to navigate that. Yeah. And not only did we navigate it, we grew.
Yeah.
And that's why I say this was the best decision of my life, because I don't want to pounce on other people's failures or their struggles because of the pandemic, but I didn't. And God bless them, because a lot of people struggled.
Yeah, right.
We didn't. So this for me was the best decision I made as far as a franchise. Proven system that works. Now, don't get me wrong. I was part of that system of getting, black guys on the way, because we were still figuring out. But the Cahills would ask me quite a bit, what do you think about this, Mike? What if we do this? Because you've been there.
Yeah.
And they're very, very, very open-minded.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Win-win.
You're in a franchise that is, I mean, especially it kind of happens naturally when you're an early adopter in a system, but it's incredible to hear and see that the CEOs and this team they're looking for people to come in who's gonna help kind of build it as you're going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's already a system there. It's already been proven on some levels, so you know that there's a system, but it's also like, if you're the third one in, there's going to be a learning curve for the whole team moving forward. Are you willing to help us, go the distance collectively here? And so it's cool to hear that kind of a family behind Supply. Yeah.
And it is a family. When my dad died, they were willing to take over my franchise while I went to Mexico and make sure I didn't miss a beat. And then when I came home, there was a card with a gift card said, hey, you're part of the family. I still have it on my mantle over here. I've not taken it down. They just said, you take care of family. When you're ready, we'll be right here for you. So they were willing to do all that. And that, as you know, that's a rarity.
That is really, it is rare. That doesn't, business still has to go. You're the one that bought it. This is yours. But that's rare. That's special.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was just going to ask, what's that experience been like for you? Because I know it's not all sunshine and rainbows owning a business, right? For people watching right now who are on the pre-franchise stage, they're on the cusp of getting into a business ownership through franchising. They have a lot of dreams, a lot of excitement. Everything is, man, I got green in my vision. I got freedom in my vision. I got control of my schedule in my vision. But it's never that plays out the way you kind of think or expect it to. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to ask, what has the experience been like since becoming a franchisee with them? Those hurdles you've experienced, how have they stepped in and support? But that's obviously a very specific demonstration of how they've supported you as well. But is there anything else you'd like to say in regards to, what the support looks like from Supply Pointe?
Well, you know what? The good thing about Adam was he was a teacher prior to founding this business with his dad.
Oh, okay.
So they understand how to help to instruct. And the good thing about it is they're not a CEO and a president that sits in an office. They still run their own territories.
Oh, so really?
Yeah. So in
Wow.
Yeah, you start as a private up to start major, but you can't get there till you've walked in that steps and built it. They're doing the same thing.
Wow.
They're still in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? The system works. They would rather go build their own territory than sit in an office and not do anything and just try and collect royalties. They don't do that.
Yeah.
They're out to help you. And I can tell you, Adam was really great, because like anybody else, I did things the wrong way. We were still trying to figure it out. And I was like, okay, boom, I'm going to go, as I say, belly to belly, shake hands and make friends, because that's what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm infamous for that's my statement. I go belly to belly, I shake hands and make friends. That's what I do for a living. Relationship building. And I was frustrated. And I called Adam and I was upset. And then he let me rant, and then he goes, "Are you done?" I said, "Okay." He said, "Okay, now do this."
Dang it. Okay.
So I went and did what he told me to do. And the next day I came back. I drove probably 370 miles that day visiting manufacturers. Came back and I hit gold.
Yeah.
I did what he told me to do because he's done it before. He'd been there before. So that, when you have that kind of mentorship and people are going to watch your back, those are the struggles that are okay to have. And it's okay to have a pity party, but don't stay there and don't let it be your excuse.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You're going to have those moments where you hit the low. It's going to happen. And you're going to have moments where I'm sure Mike, you've probably questioned at some points. There's got to be points where you've questioned, was this right? Is this the right thing? There's going to be those low moments, but you have to have the discipline and the mindset of this will only fail when I decide it's going to fail. It's only going to fail if I'm the one who quits. You keep going. And the beauty is, it sounds like you have a team, a family, CEO, support system there in place to get you through those moments as well when it's most needed. Losing a pandemic, losing a father. You know, what other pain points have you experienced along the way that you've been able to either overcome or work through?
You know, when you first start out, you know, people think that you open a business, you buy a company, and money falls in. That's such a false meaning. I mean, you really have to go build it. So you have to be willing to sacrifice the first year to 2 years. You're not going to make a lot of money, period.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that, you know, oh, it doesn't work. Incorrect. Any system, any business owner will tell you, I didn't get paid for a year, or I didn't get paid for 2 years. And so the struggle is can you be the one to embrace the suck, as we said in the military, during military operations? When you're out in the middle of the night, you know, with all your combat gear, you have a mission to go, you embrace the suck. Can you embrace the suck to see the long-term goal and get there? And that suck was, there is a financial stress because you're not making any money. But I already knew it. I've done it before. So it was stressful, but it wasn't stressful as a traditional franchise. Why? No retail shop, no inventory, no fleet of vehicles, and no massive amount of employees. Because if I fail to show up, it's my fault. If they fail to show up, I got to cover for them. That's not the issue here. I bet on me, Jared. I'm ready to get up in the morning and go. And so that stress wasn't as great as it was in previous franchises, having a big old real estate, you know, rental note you got to pay. So there's the difference. You have to look at the difference and where you're going to go with it.
Yeah, right. So what does a normal day in your life kind of look like on the I'm running the business side of it?
Okay, yeah.
Like, I know you have way different kinds of we'll get to that in a second, but what does a normal day in the life of you or a franchisee with Supply Pointe kind of look like?
You know,
like what do you do?
You know, you have a schedule. You make your own schedule. Okay, it's discipline. So first thing I do is I always check my phone. My phone stays on 24/7 because I have manufacturing companies that go 24/7. So, you know, it's on vibrate at night, but I'll get up in the morning, I'll check my phone to see what's going on, and then I'll check my emails. And then immediately I start getting to, you know, I already usually have meetings scheduled. I literally was 2 hours away at 1,200 hours. I got back about 12:20. I was working out of town. And, you know, it was my choice because there was a good opportunity. I was, you know what, I'll go do it. So yesterday and today, I was out there doing cold calls, meeting with that one meeting. But in that one meeting, I'm not going to drive there just for one meeting. I went and shook hands and made friends. With other companies. My day is a meeting, and then in that meeting, be productive around it. Shake hands and make friends. And then I've been doing quotes today, working on a big deal. You know, the thing about us having multiple locations is we all benefit. So I'm working on a deal with a brand new franchisee where he's going to blow my income away in the first year if we land this deal together. Because I have locations in my location and he has locations in his, but I'm the one who brought it to the table. And so I'm just facilitating it. And then once it all goes, it goes to the other franchise. Hey, man, knock yourself out, brother. This is your deal. And he's excited. I'm glad to help him because we're a team together here.
That's incredible. What do the territories look like then for you guys?
It's always based on businesses, locations in a square mileage or zip code area. So, you know,
that must be a huge territory for you to drive 2.5 hours away.
Well, unfortunately, there's nobody else here. So when it's available, we have a nice little system where we get approval from the franchise. Hey, it's outside my territory.
I see.
And then you're grandfathered in.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah.
And that's the good thing about the franchisors is they understand that when there's nobody covering the territory, Supply Pointe doesn't want to have a reputation of dropping the ball.
Right.
So you talk to them, we'll work it out and go make it happen. And you know, so it is what it is. But see, you know, in our business, we typically have a 2.5 hour radius anyway, with a lot of our manufacturers anyway, because they may have a location here, but then it's on the other side of town. In Nashville, for me to get to one side of town is an hour.
Right.
It's not small. It's not like Atlanta. Atlanta's 6 million. We're like 1 million. You know.
Yeah.
Still, that's a lot.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
and they
crazy.
put it in territories, Jared, so that you're successful. They don't just plop you in an area. And some of the other franchises that I do want to say about is I looked at a few others. Yeah. And when I called them, they were so upset. Another franchise is looking to come in this territory. I'm barely making any money. That's not here. They're not going to drop them in back to back to back. Yeah. You have a structured territory that is yours. Yeah. So that you are successful. Because if someone's not successful, then we're not successful. And the reality is we don't want to bring in numbers. We want to bring in family members. And we so far have done a real good job of keeping people as family. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good. I love that. The culture that has been created and is being created. And those watching now, like, you could be a part of helping continuing to create this culture. Incredible opportunity here. So outside of that, though, you told me in our very first conversation that you were affectionately nicknamed the most vacationed franchisee. So really the question is, like, how has, since becoming a Supply Pointe franchisee, how has it changed your life? How has it changed your family's life?
It is never a doubt in my military mind what my future looks like. And my 14-year-old the other day asked me about his Supply Pointe franchise.
Really?
Yes. Because he's
14, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he knows about pallets. We drive down there and he asks about them. Yeah. He asks, profit margins and how to make money. And that's, I think, a failure in some of the cultures. People don't teach their kids the hard knots of what life truly is. My son understands what hard cost is, soft cost, and loaded cost. And he knows what profitability is after that.
That's amazing. Yeah. You're not learning that. So, that's
yeah. Amazing. And so in the grasp of that, my life has changed because not only is it influencing my son, but he sees not only the struggle, because there's times I was out of town and, there's times that I had to work hard and I still work hard. But now it's more structured. I go to all his baseball games. I take him to his D1 training every day. I pick him up. I go to his bowling. I go to his soccer games. I used to coach him, but now 14, you don't coach your own kids. They don't listen. Yeah. But I don't miss anything. Yeah. And yes, they, other than franchisees that call me, where are you at today, Mike? I just got back. I'm in Myrtle Beach. When are you going to be back? It's okay. I got my computer. What do you need? You can work from anywhere.
Man, yeah.
And, the first few years, dude, it was a grind, Jared. When I say I grounded, I grinded from day one to the first 2.5 years. I grinded it out. But now I'm still grinding, but now it's at a pace where I can live a good life and reap the rewards of the time freedom and financial freedom. And I'm not going to lie, you probably 8 months out of the year, someplace in that month, I'm gone. I'm gone again tomorrow. I got back to Myrtle Beach last week. I worked all this week, and then I'm going tomorrow, taking Friday off, Saturday and Sunday. My brother's flying in. We're going to go to the amusement park with my son. That's what allows you to do. But I do have clients call me. I have my cell phone with me. I have a laptop with me. Yeah. This is why this franchise is so much better than my previous franchise. I don't have to be on site. I can make money anywhere.
Yeah, so good. What's next for you? What are some of your goals, your plans for the future now? What's 5, 10, 15 years from now look like?
Well, that is what being in business with my son. I look at Adam and Matt.
I love that.
And, they're a son and father and son duo that started this. And for my son to mention the other day, what about my franchise, Dad? When do I get my Supply Pointe? When you graduate college, but we can start it while you're in college. That's not an issue. Yeah. So that is, to me, is the future, is me and my son doing this together and then enjoying life together. Yeah. Life is short. You get one shot at it. I've seen war. I've seen death. I don't want death. I want to live life. Yeah. And I want to show my son that there's more to life than working 8 to 5. And God bless people who want to do that, because there are several who that's what they want to do. That's their comfort zone. Yeah. God bless them. That's not me. Right. Not me. Yeah. So the future holds, another franchise in the Carillo family for my son. Yeah. I love that. I'm sure Supply Pointe loves that too. They're probably like screaming like, yeah, Mike, have 10 more kids. Have a whole bunch of kids. Have all the kids, man. That's good. That's good. I mean, no, those that are watching now or at a later date, like that are in that pre-franchise stage that you once were, right? What is like one last piece of advice or encouragement you would give to them if they're kind of on the fence right now, either with Supply Pointe or franchising in general? What's kind of a last piece of advice you would give them? I tell every franchise, don't come to me unless you know your why. There's a book by Simon Sinek, Find Your Why, or Start with Why.
Yep.
If you don't know your why, then why are you looking at a franchise? Because you have no idea where you're going. Then once you figure your why, I tell them, what is your goal?
Yeah.
Because if you can't find your goal and make it measurable, you're going to fail. Because you have to find a franchise that's going to fit your goal, your why. So I tell them, every potential franchise that calls me, I ask them, what is your why? What is your goals?
Yeah.
And that's the first thing they need to figure out. Then they can start looking at franchise. Some people want that, that retail shop. Not for me, but some do.
Mm-hmm.
So why look at a franchise if you don't know which direction you really want to go? So my biggest advice is those two things: finding your why and your goal, and then build your map, your roadmap for your future from there.
Yeah, and that's so good. Yeah, that's exactly like whenever I meet with a client or work with an entrepreneur who's curious about franchising, we always start with that question, and we spend a considerable amount of time on it. So I'm just letting you guys know watching this right now, like if we have yet to connect and you're still kind of on the fence about it or whatever, when we do connect, that's going to be one of the first questions we spend quite a bit of time is really unpacking why you're wanting to get into franchising or business ownership. Like what really is your motivation for doing this? Yep. And we'll spend some time doing that because that greatly affects what kind of brands and businesses and cultures that we're going to look at together.
Absolutely.
That's so good.
And the fact that that's how you actually guide your potential franchisees, Jared, that just proves exactly what we're discussing.
Yep.
Because, before this, you and I talked a few times on the phone, but we never talked in depth. Mm-hmm. But we're on the same wavelength to try to help people figure out what they want in their lives.
Yeah.
And it's the same map. We're using the same exact map. Why? It's a proven system, and people need to know what that is before you go invest. Because people invest their 401ks, their IRAs. Right. This is a life-changing decision. So it needs to be set in stone how they want to go, where they want to go, and who they want to get in bed with.
Yeah, you invest quite a bit of money to do this. I don't care if you're a multimillionaire or whatever. It's a good chunk of change regardless of what kind of franchise you get into. And some people are, you said the 401k or their house. They're putting their house on it. Like that's what a HELOC is, right? Like it's a big investment to do this. So you better make sure we're making the wisest decision possible. And that's got to start really with why. That's so good. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, man, I love the idea of Supply Pointe. I want to learn more. I'm not saying I'm ready. This is number one. This is the brand for me, but I want to see if it might be. And you're interested in getting started today, I want you to right now type freedom in the comments below. If you're someone who I want to experience the freedom in my schedule. I want to experience the freedom in my finances. I want to experience the freedom of being able to be at every one of my kids' soccer, baseball, football, whatever, volleyball games, whatever it might be. I want to experience the freedom of jumping out of a plane with my kid for some reason. If you want to experience freedom and you want to learn more about Supply Pointe, type that into the chat or the comments, and I'll reach out to you and we'll get started on that conversation of what that might look like. But man, while they're doing that, Mike, I can't appreciate you enough for your time out of your schedule, because I know you grind and you go and you just all the time, except for when you're vacationing, whatever it might be. But I knew that you were in Myrtle Beach and you're like, man, I got to be back home to do this interview. So we got to leave Myrtle Beach early. I know that was the case. And so I appreciate you and the sacrifice you've made to be here, but just sharing of yourself and your experience, your wisdom, and just your love for what you're doing. I think it's exciting and infectious. And so I appreciate that so much, brother.
Well, thank you for having me. And, those who are questioning it, the one thing I want you to understand is that when you stick your head above the water to be different, you're going to take shots.
Yeah.
Right? But do what's best for you. And don't let somebody else steal your dream. Because there's haters out there. Right, Jared? There's haters out there. Oh, you can't do that. No, they can't do it. So they're trying to tell you that. Right. And I'm living proof. I've had haters. Oh, well, you're bragging about your vacations. No, I'm not. I'm just living life.
Yeah.
Don't let them steal your dream. Figure out what your why is. Figure out what your goal and dream is. And if it matches up with Jared and he can help you, man, God bless you. Go do it. Build your life.
Yeah, so good, Mike. Appreciate you so much again. Seriously. Guys, once again, talk freedom in the comments. I don't want to leave you guys with nothing, so we'll see you next week with Fran Ops, but check this out before you leave.
Now that you know a bit about us, we'd like to share just a few of the reasons we love Supply Pointe and why you will too. The ability to set your own schedule is huge. Just imagine being able to work when you're at your best, not when your company decides it's time for work. Are you a morning person? A night owl? As long as you put in the work, it doesn't matter when you decide to do it. Location, location, location. You've heard the saying. Where you choose to work is just as much your choice as when. Leveraging modern technology, as long as you have your phone and computer handy, you can work anywhere you have internet access. We like to make the joke we're allergic to overhead. Our home business model requires little to no overhead. No employees, no office, and no inventory. Fewer operating costs means more money in your pocket. Speaking of money, Supply Pointe franchisees have the ability to earn recurring income from multiple revenue streams. This means the harder you work and the better you serve your customers, the more money they'll spend with you, and the more money you'll make.